And if he remains dedicated, interested, and without any distractions, I believe that eventually he'll go down in history as the greatest heavyweight champion we've ever had.
From the beginning, but everybody else knew that it was no calm. It was no calm. Let's like the rest of it. A lot of people came to look. Jesse Ferguson came to look. The Fraziers came to look.
James Broad was out there.
All of you come get some. 'Cause Mike Tyson's out here. He's waiting for you. All come get some.
Mike Tyson was just 18 years old when boxing experts made a bold prediction. They said he would become the youngest heavyweight champion in history. But here's what nobody saw coming. He wouldn't just break records, he would redefine what it meant to be terrifying in a boxing ring. In his first professional fight, this teenage destroyer needed just one round to demolish a grown man. By age 20, he had knocked out 28 opponents. Most never made it past the second round. The scariest part? He was just getting started. March 6, 1985. An 18-year-old kid from Brooklyn stepped into a professional boxing ring for the first time. His name was Mike Tyson, and he was about to change everything. This wasn't just any teenager. This was a kid molded by Cus D'Amato, one of boxing's greatest trainers. D'Amato saw something special in young Mike, something dangerous. His opponent was Hector Mercedes, a tough Puerto Rican fighter with 15 professional fights under his belt. Mercedes probably thought he was getting an easy payday against some inexperienced kid. He was dead wrong. From the opening bell, Tyson moved like a predator stalking prey. He threw hooks to the body that sounded like thunder. Mercedes had been in the ring with hard punchers before, but he had never felt power like this. The way Tyson moved was different. He slipped punches with his head, bobbed and weaved like a snake, then exploded forward with devastating combinations. This wasn't awkward teenage boxing. This was pure violence refined into an art form. One round. That's all it took. Mercedes was down, and the boxing world had just witnessed the birth of a monster.
Swinging hooks to the body from Tyson, and if that is it in round one, that is a pretty impressive professional debut from the man who so nearly went to the Olympics in Los Angeles last.
Fight number 2 came against Trent Singleton. Same result, different victim. Tyson landed a 4-punch combination that ended with Singleton's jaw meeting Tyson's fist at full force. Down he went like a falling tree. He got up, tried to continue, then went down again. The commentators were already calling him a perpetual motion machine. This wasn't normal. 18-year-olds don't destroy grown men this easily.
He gets a mandatory 8 under New York State Athletic Commission rules, and already, from what little we've seen Mike Tyson in his pro career, down goes Singleton again, left hook this time and body, and he's just a perpetual motion machine so far. This isn't going to go too long. Trent Singleton in all sorts of trouble. We're already in round one. The Mike Tyson, the young fledgling professional, 2 fights, 2 wins, the debut.
Fight 3 was Don Halpin. Halpin survived into the 4th round, which made him tougher than most. But when Halpin missed several punches and bounced off the ropes, Tyson pounced with a devastating right hand. Another knockout for the teenage destroyer.
I think so. That's enough. Now that last right hander, that was questionable. Tyson celebrated.
Fight 4 was Ricardo Spain. This fight lasted less than a minute. Tyson hit Spain with 12 unanswered shots, then dropped him with a left hook. Spain got up, only to eat another left hook that sent him right back down. Spain couldn't believe what had happened. He sat on the canvas, staring at the ceiling, wondering how someone so young could hit so hard.
Like a steam hammer. Ricardo, believe it, that's well inside a minute. Spain can't believe it. Tyson absolutely.
Michael Johnson was next. Another first-round knockout. Tyson dropped him with a left hook to the body, then finished him with a right cross to the head. Johnson never saw it coming.
I'm glad you pointed it out because down he goes, the left hook. Just buried him, dug him in the ring. All over. Goodbye.
I hope he's not hurt because that was a brutal, wide open punch.
He did not have his guard up, and Mike Tyson.
Robert Coley tried to keep his distance with a long jab. It didn't matter. Tyson's speed was overwhelming. 5 punches later, Coley was unconscious on the canvas. 6 fights, 6 knockouts, all in the first round. Boxing had never seen anything like this teenager from Brooklyn.
3, 4, 5,
Sterling Benjamin thought he could handle the hype. He lasted exactly 1 round and learned why everyone was talking about Mike Tyson. Tyson pushed him to the ropes and dropped him with a left hook. Benjamin got up, and Tyson immediately unleashed 12 more unanswered punches. Just before the referee could stop it, Tyson landed a devastating shot to the liver. Benjamin crumpled like he'd been shot. That liver shot became a signature weapon. Tyson wasn't just knocking people out with headshots. He was destroying bodies, breaking spirits, making grown men quit. The liver shot is one of the most painful punches in boxing. It shuts down your entire system. You can't breathe. You can't move. You can't think about anything except the pain. Eddie Richardson tried to keep Tyson away with a sluggish jab. Big mistake. After the third clinch, Tyson cornered him and threw his signature left hook to the head. Richardson flew through the air and crashed to the canvas. The commentators were starting to worry about something that had never been a problem before. Tyson's fights weren't lasting long enough to get good footage for television. "I see a major problem in Mike Tyson's career," one commentator said, "and that's having fights last long enough to get some good footage." This was becoming a real issue. How do you build a television star when his fights end in seconds?
Almost drove him, carried him through the air. And it's over. I see right now a major flaw and problem in Mike Tyson's career, and that's going to be to have a fight that lasts long enough to get some good footage on it. I'm telling you what, it's hard to do. Mike Tyson...
Conroy Nelson lasted longer than most, making it to round 2. But when Tyson found his opening, it was over instantly. A vicious left hand put Nelson down for good. The pattern was clear. It didn't matter if opponents were bigger, stronger, or more experienced. When Tyson landed clean, lights went out.
Becoming a Tyson trademark. Well, fight number 13, unlucky 13, I don't think so.
Overhand right, then taking him out with a vicious left hand. Referee counted him out at 30 seconds of the round.
Sammy Scaff was 6 inches taller than Tyson. Didn't matter. Tyson ducked under his shots and landed his signature left hook. Blood covered Scaff's face immediately. Another left hook put him down permanently.
Tried to get up. His nose is cut. Look at the side of his nose there.
Mark Young made the worst mistake possible. He walked forward without throwing punches, covering his vision with his gloves. Tyson stepped to the side and threw a devastating right uppercut. Young flew from the middle of the ring to the ropes.
I think this might be another early stoppage because this guy's been a little wild.
David Jacko had reach and height advantages. None of it mattered. At the end of round 1, Tyson missed with a left hook, then immediately landed a right hook to the head. 3 knockdowns meant automatic stoppage. By now, people were asking the tough questions. Was Mike Tyson real or just hype? Critics said he was beating nobodies. They wanted to see him against a real contender. Enter Jesse Ferguson. Ferguson wasn't some unknown fighter. He was a legitimate contender with real boxing skills and the kind of toughness that comes from years in the ring. This fight was supposed to prove whether Tyson was a serious title contender or just an overhyped prospect. The early rounds were competitive. Ferguson was actually landing shots, making Tyson work harder than he'd worked in any previous fight. For the first time in his career, Tyson was in a real fight. Ferguson was using his jab effectively, keeping Tyson at distance. When Tyson got close, Ferguson would tie him up or move away. It was smart boxing. For 4 rounds, Ferguson proved that Tyson could be outboxed. He proved the teenager wasn't invincible. Then came round 5. Everything changed. Tyson pressed Ferguson to the ropes and threw his signature combination. Right hook to the body, right uppercut to the head that exploded Ferguson's nose like a water balloon. Blood erupted from Ferguson's face. He hit the canvas hard, his nose clearly broken, blood streaming onto the white canvas below. That uppercut broke Ferguson's nose and his spirit. The commentators knew it was over. "He will not last much longer," they said. Ferguson was hanging on desperately, trying to cover up. Blood streamed down his face. Tyson stalked him like a wounded animal. He could smell blood. He could sense fear. The referee finally stepped in and stopped the fight. Ferguson's face was a bloody mess. Fight over. Tyson had passed his first real test. But more importantly, the boxing world had seen something terrifying. When Tyson hurt someone, he tried to destroy them completely. The killer instinct was real.
This is a 16-foot ring. Very much for Tyson. Threw a tremendous left hook, missed with it, and didn't go off balance. I think that uppercut broke Ferguson's nose, Jim. He is in desperate trouble. He will not let himself get this close to Ferguson. He must maintain a little bit of distance so that he's going to take a point.
After destroying Ferguson, Tyson's reputation spread through boxing like wildfire. Now everyone knew this was the real deal. But that also meant his opponents got tougher. Steve Zowski came with a smart game plan. He tried to box from the outside, using movement to avoid Tyson's power shots. For 3 rounds, it worked. But in round 3, Tyson crouched on his left leg and delivered a lightning-fast left hook that came from an angle Zowski never saw. The punch landed on Zowski's temple with the sound of a baseball bat hitting a watermelon. Classic knockout. Reggie Gross thought he could overwhelm Tyson with volume. He exploded with a 15-punch combination, even landing an uppercut on Tyson's jaw. For a moment, it looked like someone might hurt the destroyer, but Tyson just smiled. Under the hail of punches, Tyson stayed calm. He waited for his opening, then threw his signature left hand with perfect timing. Gross crumpled to the canvas. "You can't stand up," Tyson taunted. "You can't even walk." William Hosea never stood a chance. A left hook rocked him, then a right uppercut rocked him again. After a clinch, Tyson unleashed a powerful combination. Hosea hit the canvas and deliberately didn't get up. He'd had enough. This was becoming a pattern. Fighters weren't just getting knocked out, they were quitting rather than continue taking punishment. Lorenzo Boyd gave away significant weight to Tyson, but weight classes don't matter against this level of power. Tyson hit him with his signature combination. Right hook to the body, right uppercut to the head. Boyd crumpled. Then came the fight that would show whether Tyson was ready for the big time. Marvis Frazier, son of legendary Joe Frazier. Before the fight, commentators weren't asking if Tyson would knock him out. They were asking when. Marvis relied on pressure and intensity, but that aggressiveness became his downfall. In round 1, he backed himself into the corner. Tyson made one of his most spectacular combinations. He caught Frazier with a right uppercut that buckled his legs instantly. Knockout. 20 seconds. That's all it took to destroy the son of a legend.
Really opens up with a solid combination of about 6 8 real heavy, 5 smart. Zowski in big trouble against the rope, but Tyson lays back. Tyson is
You are out. You can't stand up. Keep what?
Come on, bro.
You can't even walk. You worrying about fighting? Come on.
Jose Ribalta was supposed to be the real test. The fight lasted 10 rounds, longer than any Tyson bout yet. For 9.5 rounds, it looked like someone had figured out how to survive against Iron Mike. But in round 10, the crowd started chanting, "Jose! Jose!" Tyson heard those chants, and he didn't like them. His face changed. He went on the attack with a fury that scared everyone. A powerful right cross missed, then immediately a left to the jaw that landed perfectly. Ribalta fell back to the canvas. He got up, but Tyson pounced like a wild animal. 5 straight blows to the head, all landing exactly where they were supposed to. The referee stopped the fight. Alfonso Ratliff was a former WBC cruiserweight champion with real credentials, but championships from other weight classes don't mean much against Mike Tyson. In round 2, Tyson dodged left and landed a powerful left hook to Ratliff's jaw. Down he went. Ratliff rose at the count of 9, but Tyson rushed to finish him with 8 straight punches. When the referee broke a clinch, Tyson beat Ratliff against the ropes until the referee stopped it. November 22, 1986, the day that would change boxing history forever. Trevor Berbick was the WBC heavyweight champion. He was 33 years old, experienced, and tough. He had fought Muhammad Ali in Ali's final fight. He wasn't going to be intimidated by some 20-year-old kid. The fight was called Doomsday. About 8,800 people packed the Las Vegas arena, including movie stars and celebrities. At 20 years, 4 months and 22 days old, Mike Tyson was attempting to become the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. Floyd Patterson's record was 21 years and 10 months. The early rounds were competitive. Berbick was using his experience, trying to frustrate Tyson. Then came round 2. The coronation began. Tyson caught Berbick with a left hook that sent him crashing to the canvas. But what happened next became one of the most famous moments in boxing history. Berbick got up, but something was wrong. His legs weren't working. He stumbled left, then right, like a man walking on ice. The punch had scrambled his equilibrium completely. He tried to steady himself, but his legs betrayed him again. He stumbled toward the ropes, then back to the center. The referee was watching closely. He went down again, not from another punch, but because his legs couldn't support him anymore. The count reached 10. Mike Tyson was the new heavyweight champion of the world, the youngest in boxing history. Winning the title was one thing, defending it was another. Some critics whispered that maybe the Berbick fight was a fluke. Those whispers were about to be silenced. Pinklon Thomas was next. This fight was for both the WBC and WBA titles. Unification was on the line. For 5 rounds, Thomas boxed smart and stayed competitive. Then came round 6. Thomas missed an incoming left hook, leaving himself exposed. Tyson threw 17 more powerful, unanswered blows to the head. 17 straight punches, each one landing with bone-crushing force. When Thomas fell to the canvas, his corner was thinking about throwing in the towel. Knockout. Tyson was now a unified champion. Tyrell Biggs came next. This fight had a personal edge. Biggs had beaten Tyson in the amateurs. The fight lasted 7 rounds. At the beginning of round 7, Biggs tried to clinch immediately, showing he was hurt. Tyson struck from the left, knocking out Biggs' mouthpiece. Blood streamed down Biggs' face. His left eye was swelling shut. After another clinch, Tyson threw a hard left strike to Biggs' temple. Biggs fell out of the ropes, face covered in blood. He got up at 9 and continued. Breaking the distance, Tyson threw another left hook to the jaw. This one was perfectly placed and delivered with devastating force. Biggs crumpled to the canvas, unconscious before he hit the ground. Another brutal knockout for the unified champion. By now, Mike Tyson had accomplished the impossible. He had gone from unknown teenager to youngest heavyweight champion in history. But more than that, he had done it with a level of violence the sport had never seen. His knockout ratio was astronomical. His punching power was legendary. His intimidation factor was off the charts. Grown men were literally afraid to fight him. Opponents were coming into the ring already defeated mentally. The Ferguson fight proved he could handle adversity. The Frazier knockout proved he could destroy boxing royalty. The Berbick victory proved he could win under the brightest lights. But this was only the beginning of his reign of terror. The biggest fights were still coming. Larry Holmes was waiting, the legendary former champion who many considered the greatest heavyweight since Ali. Holmes was undefeated in 48 fights and had never been knocked out. Michael Spinks was lurking, another undefeated champion. A fight between Tyson and Spinks would be called once and for all to determine the undisputed champion. Frank Bruno was coming from England with his devastating right hand. Carl Williams was waiting with his slick boxing skills. All of these fighters thought they had the answer to the Mike Tyson puzzle. They all believed they could dethrone the teenage destroyer. They were about to learn the same lesson that 28 other fighters had learned the hard way. When you step into the ring with Mike Tyson, you're not fighting a boxer. You're fighting a force of nature. You're fighting something boxing had never seen before. In part 2 of this series, we'll witness Tyson's most legendary knockouts, his biggest title fights, and the moments that made him the most feared athlete on the planet. We'll see him destroy Larry Holmes. We'll watch him annihilate Michael Spinks in less than 2 minutes. We'll witness him demolish Frank Bruno, Bruce Seldon, and a parade of elite heavyweights. Because what you've seen so far, this was just Mike Tyson getting warmed up. This was just him learning his craft and building the foundation for the most dominant heavyweight run in boxing history. The real destruction, the legendary knockouts that made him a global superstar, the fights that made grown men afraid to be in the same ring with him, all of that is coming in part 2. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because part 2 is going to show you exactly why they called Mike Tyson the baddest man on the planet. The monster from Brooklyn was just getting started, and the heavyweight division was about to learn what real fear looked like. Part 2 drops soon. Don't miss it.
The fight, I was confident. I trained real hard with my trainer, Kevin Rooney, who I owe a great deal to. And I came out and I was confident. I knew the fight. I felt it deep in my heart. I was going to stop him in the first round.
Did you know from watching tapes of him that you could hit him with the uppercut?
No, that's my favorite punch. And I watched the time, and I knew from my trainer telling me, as he throws his punches, he bends down. And I knew that would be perfect for my uppercut. I planned on working the body more, but I saw the opportunity, and it looked too good to go away.
Larry Holmes had never been knocked out in 48 professional fights. He was a boxing legend who many considered the greatest heavyweight since Muhammad Ali. But here's what Holmes didn't understand. Mike Tyson wasn't just another challenger. He was a destroyer who turned legends into cautionary tales. In 4 brutal rounds, Tyson would do what no one had ever done before: knock out Larry Holmes. Then he would shock the world by destroying Michael Spinks in 91 seconds. This wasn't just boxing anymore. This was systematic destruction of an entire division. January 22nd, 1988. Madison Square Garden was packed with 20,000 screaming fans who came to see if the impossible could happen. Could Mike Tyson actually knock out Larry Holmes? Holmes was 38 years old, but still dangerous. He had defended the heavyweight title 20 times. He had beaten everyone from Ken Norton to Jerry Cooney. Most importantly, he had never been knocked out in his entire career. Many experts thought Holmes was too smart, too experienced, too technically sound for a young puncher like Tyson. They said Holmes would use his jab, tie Tyson up, and frustrate him over 12 rounds. They were about to be proven horribly wrong. From the opening bell, Tyson stalked Holmes like a predator hunting wounded prey. Holmes tried to use his famous jab, but Tyson was too fast, too elusive. He slipped under Holmes's punches and got inside where his power could do damage. In round 4, the inevitable happened. Tyson landed a combination that sent Holmes crashing to the canvas. The crowd erupted. Larry Holmes, the man who had never been knocked out, was down. Holmes got up at the count of 10 and tried to continue, but Tyson could smell blood in the water. He unleashed his traditional fury, a barrage of punches that had Holmes stumbling around the ring like a drunk man. Holmes went down again. This time, he got up at the count of 4, but his legs were gone. His famous boxing brain was scrambled. Tyson pushed Holmes back to the ropes and started the beating that would end a legend's career. The referee had seen enough. Fight stopped. Larry Holmes, the great Larry Holmes, had been knocked out for the first time in his life. The man who many thought was untouchable had been destroyed by a 21-year-old from Brooklyn. After the fight, Holmes would admit that Tyson hit harder than anyone he'd ever faced. "I've been in there with big punchers," Holmes said, "but nothing like that. When he hit me, I saw everything. Stars, lights, my whole life flashing before my eyes." The boxing world was in shock. If Tyson could do this to Larry Holmes, what couldn't he do? June 27th, 1988, Atlantic City. The fight that would determine the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Michael Spinks was undefeated in 31 fights. He had never even been knocked down. He was the linear heavyweight champion, and the only man standing between Tyson and complete domination of the division. This fight was called Once and for All, because the winner would leave the ring as the absolute, unconditional champion. No disputes, no arguments, Just one man standing above all others. The entire sports world was watching. This was the biggest fight in years, maybe decades. Spinks had a smart game plan. He was going to use his speed and boxing skills to outpoint Tyson. He would move, stick, and run, make Tyson miss and tire him out over 12 rounds. The plan lasted exactly 91 seconds. From the opening bell, Tyson came forward like a man possessed. Spinks tried to circle, tried to use his jab, tried to implement his game plan. None of it mattered. Tyson caught Spinks with a right hand that sent him stumbling across the ring. Spinks was hurt badly, but somehow stayed on his feet. His corner was screaming at him to hold on, to survive the round. But Tyson wasn't interested in letting anyone survive. He followed up with a left hook that put Spinks on the canvas for the first time in his career. Spinks got up quickly, trying to show he wasn't hurt, but everyone could see the truth in his eyes. He was terrified. Tyson moved in for the kill. He threw a short left uppercut that caught Spinks flush on the chin. Spinks' knees buckled. His eyes rolled back. He crashed to the canvas like a falling tree. The referee didn't even bother counting. One look at Spinks told him everything he needed to know. Fight over. 91 seconds. That's all it took for Mike Tyson to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. The crowd sat in stunned silence. Michael Spinks, who had never even been knocked down, had been brutally knocked out in less than 2 minutes. Butch Lewis, Spinks' promoter, tried to argue that the fight should continue, but it was obvious to everyone that Spinks was done. He was still sitting on the canvas, shaking his head, trying to figure out what had hit him. This wasn't just a knockout. This was a statement to the entire boxing world. Mike Tyson wasn't just the champion. He was in a class by himself.
Landed inside and Spinks went down. And he's down again and in serious trouble. A right hand right on the chin.
Now we know why Butch Lewis.
Now, Tyson was the undisputed king of the heavyweight division. Every fighter in the world wanted a shot at him, and he was ready to destroy them all. Frank Bruno came from England with the backing of an entire nation. Bruno had a devastating right hand and the kind of heart that British fighters are famous for. The fight was held in Las Vegas, but it felt like half of England had made the trip to support their hero. Bruno's plan was simple: survive the early rounds when Tyson was most dangerous, then use his size and strength advantage to take over the fight. It was a good plan. Unfortunately, good plans don't work against Mike Tyson. In round 5, after Bruno had actually been competitive for most of the fight, Tyson found his opening. He caught Bruno with a right cross to the head, then immediately followed with his signature combination. Right hook to the body that doubled Bruno over, then a right uppercut to the head that straightened him up. Bruno was lost, practically not reacting to the punches anymore. Another right uppercut, then a left hook, and the referee decided he'd seen enough. Fight stopped in round 5. Bruno was devastated. He had come so close to making it a real fight, but in the end, Tyson's power was just too much.
Shake hands, good luck. It's all over. Michael Tyson wins on a 5th round TKO.
Carl Williams thought his boxing skills might be the answer to the Tyson puzzle. Williams was slick, fast, and had good footwork. He believed he could outbox the champion and maybe even outpoint him. The fight lasted 93 seconds. In the middle of the first round, Williams tried to hit Tyson with a left jab. Tyson slipped the punch and countered with a left hook that sent Williams back to the ropes. Although Williams was able to get to his feet and seemed ready to continue, the referee had seen enough. 93 seconds. Tyson's second fastest title defense. The message was clear to everyone in the heavyweight division. It didn't matter if you were a boxer, a puncher, tall, short, experienced, or young. If you stepped into the ring with Mike Tyson, you were going to get hurt.
Unofficially, I've got this fight being 1 second longer than Tyson.
Henry Tillman thought he knew Tyson's weaknesses because he had beaten him twice in the amateur ranks. Those amateur victories meant nothing in the professional ring. Just 25 seconds before the end of the first round, Tyson drove Tillman into a corner. Tillman tried to fight back, but Tyson responded with a strong right hook that put Tillman on the canvas. Clear knockout. Alex Stewart was next. He was supposed to be tough, a hard puncher who could give Tyson some trouble. The fight started with Tyson going on the attack immediately. Stewart went down from a flush right hand in the first round. He got up and continued, showing heart. But in the second round, Tyson caught him with a short left hook to the head. Stewart fell under the ropes. The 3 knockdown rule was in effect. Fight over. Stewart had promised that Tyson was a mountain he was going to climb. Instead, he got knocked off that mountain in 2 rounds.
Control board. Protect yourself at all times. Both your sweats gloves. Come on, come on. Come on, baby. That's right, baby.
The question, as in all times, needs to fight.
All right, man.
That was a flush right hand. 5, 6. Taking a good.
After 3 years in prison, many people wondered if Mike Tyson still had it. Was the destroyer still there, or had time and circumstances dulled his edge? The answer came quickly and brutally. Peter McNeely was chosen as Tyson's comeback opponent. He was supposed to be tough enough to give Tyson some rounds, but not good enough to actually win. At the beginning of the first round, Tyson sent McNeely to the canvas with a right hook to the head. McNeely jumped up and suddenly ran around the ring like a man who had lost his mind. In the middle of the round, Tyson made another successful attack and sent McNeely to the canvas with a right uppercut. McNeely was very hurt this time. He could barely stand up. His corner had seen enough. They quit. McNeely had quit. Tyson was back, and he was still terrifying.
The instructions addressed to protect yourself at all times. I expect a tough, clean fight. Any questions from McNeely's corner? Any questions from Mr. Tyson's corner? Let's get it on!
He can barely stand up. It is late. He's got about 30 seconds left. They want Tyson to go to the neutral corner. What's going on? The round.
Buster Mathis Jr. thought he could last longer than McNeely. He was wrong. Just 40 seconds before the end of the third round, Tyson landed successive right uppercuts that threw Mathis to the canvas. Mathis couldn't rise by the count of 10. Devastating knockout. 2 uppercuts by Mike Tyson, and another opponent was unconscious on the canvas.
Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves.
Knockout. Just
A devastating right uppercut. 2 of them by Mike Tyson. And he is knocked down Buster Mathis Jr.
Frank Bruno got a second chance against Tyson, and this time, it was even more brutal than the first. Less than a minute after the start of the third round, Tyson made a combination of 13 blows that left the referee no choice but to stop the fight. Bruno went down, and this time he didn't get up for a long time. When he finally did, he looked like a man who had been in a car accident. "It is all over," the commentator said. "Mike Tyson is champion again, and the Tyson era has begun."
It is all over. It is all over here in round 3. Mike Tyson is champion again.
And that is it. Mike Tyson is back. The Tyson era has begun.
I told you Frank Bruno had no chance because those absolutes. Mike hits with both hands.
Bruce Seldon was supposed to be a legitimate challenger. He had decent boxing skills and had won some fights, but in the middle of the first round, he learned why they called Tyson the baddest man on the planet. Seldon was knocked down with a left hook thrown by Tyson, immediately followed by a right cross that hurt him even more. Seldon got up at the count of 8 and resumed the fight. He was almost immediately knocked out by another left hook. Down he went on his stomach, unable to get up. The commentator said it perfectly. There are 2 unalterable truths in boxing. If you don't have a great chin, you can't get one. You can't buy one or learn one.
And Tyson with a left hook, and Seldon is down on his stomach.
Steve, there are 2 unalterable truths in boxing. If you have a great chin, you don't have a great chin, you can't get one. You can't buy one or learn one.
Oh, forget it.
Francois Botha was a tough South African who had actually been giving Tyson some trouble through 4 rounds. Many people in the crowd were surprised that Botha was fighting Tyson on equal terms. But at the end of the 5th round, Tyson sent his opponent to the canvas with a right cross to the chin. Botha got up to the count of 10, but immediately fell onto the ropes. The referee announced a knockout. "That's what happens when you've got a great puncher," the commentator explained. "That's all it takes." Julius Francis came next, and he lasted 2 rounds. In those 2 rounds, Francis managed to be knocked down 5 times. It was a beating so systematic and brutal that it was hard to watch. Round 2 ended with Francis being knocked down for the 5th time by a right uppercut. The referee had seen enough. Lou Savarese thought he might be different. He was wrong. 19 seconds into the fight, Tyson knocked Savarese down with a brilliant left hook. When Savarese got up intending to continue, Tyson rushed to finish him off. A barrage by Tyson followed. The referee tried to stop it, but Tyson continued throwing punches as if he couldn't hear the referee's commands. The fight was over, but the message was clear. Even in the later stages of his career, Mike Tyson was still the most dangerous man in boxing.
A barrage by Tyson. The referee, John Coyle, steps between, and he continues. Coyle's trying to stop it. Tyson's hands as if to say the fight. Yes, it's over. It's over.
He stopped it, Steve. You know what? He stopped it, but he didn't do it to...
Brian Nielsen tried to make it past the early rounds. His left eye was completely closed by the end of the 6th round. When the 7th round started, Nielsen refused to continue. The referee awarded Tyson the victory with a TKO. Clifford Etienne was Tyson's last knockout victim. At the beginning of the 1st round, Tyson missed with his left hook, but immediately threw out a right hook. Etienne was on the canvas, and the referee stopped the fight, opening minute of the fight, and another opponent was finished. After the fight with Etienne, Tyson was interviewed about his performance. "I was confident," he said. "I trained real hard with my trainer, and I came out confident. I felt deep in my heart I was going to stop him in the 1st round." When asked about his favorite punch, Tyson smiled. "That's my favorite punch, the uppercut. I watched the timing and I knew from my trainer telling me that as he throws his punches, he bends down, and I knew that would be perfect for my uppercut."
In your mind, if your managers Jim Jacobs and Bill Caton and your trainer Kevin Rooney came to you and said, "Mike, we think you're ready for a title shot tomorrow," would you agree with them at this point?
Most definitely. Anytime if my manager and my trainer feel that I'm confident and they're willing to put me in a title and they're sure I could beat the champion, I'm sure I could beat them also.
Of the 3 champions, who would you like to fight and why?
Anybody my trainer put me in with, because I'm confident.
This was the Mike Tyson that the boxing world had come to fear. A man who studied his opponents, found their weaknesses, and then destroyed them with scientific precision. Throughout his career, Tyson had knocked out 44 opponents. Most of them never made it past the early rounds. Some were knocked out so brutally that they never fought again. But the numbers don't tell the whole story. What made Tyson truly special wasn't just his knockout ratio. It was the fear he instilled in grown men. Opponents would come into the ring already defeated mentally. Some would look for ways out before the fight even started. Others would quit at the first sign of trouble. Tyson had become more than just a boxer. He had become a force of nature, a living, breathing nightmare for anyone who dared to step into the ring with him. From that 18-year-old kid who knocked out Hector Mercedes in 1 round to the undisputed heavyweight champion who destroyed legends like Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks, Mike Tyson had accomplished something that no fighter before or since has been able to match. He had made an entire division afraid of him. When fighters heard they were going to face Mike Tyson, they didn't just prepare for a boxing match. They prepared for war. They prepared for the possibility that their careers might end in a matter of seconds. And most of the time, that's exactly what happened. This is why they called him Iron Mike. This is why they called him the baddest man on the planet. This is why his name still strikes fear into the hearts of fighters today. Mike Tyson didn't just win fights. He ended them. He didn't just beat opponents. He destroyed them. And in doing so, he created a legacy that will never be forgotten. A legacy of pure, devastating power that changed boxing forever. The teenage destroyer from Brooklyn had become the most feared fighter in the history of the sport. And that fear, that reputation, that legacy of destruction, it will live on forever. Thanks for watching this journey through the most brutal and dominant career in boxing history. Make sure to subscribe for more legendary boxing content, and let us know in the comments which Tyson knockout was the most devastating. The baddest man on the planet has left the building, but his legend will never die.